maintain constant stakeholder engagement as part of a conscious plan to reposition the nation's maritime industry, declared the Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Shippers Council, Barrister Pius Akuta, as he led the top management on a courtesy visit to the eastern ports. We will tell you all about the 2-day familiarization tour after this short message. Don't take a muscle, I'll be right back.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B with a measure within on a needle. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem where shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily. Papa, email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
For you, we dey
Nigerian Shippers Council with the meeting now for the port of Nani.
A warm welcome to The Shipper, your viable window on information on maritime activities, brought to you by Nigerian Shippers Council, the nation's port economic regulator. My name is Abike Ido. The Executive Secretary of Nigerian Shippers Council, Barrister Pius Akuta, says the government will continue to work with relevant stakeholders to ensure Nigeria remains a hub in Africa. He gave this assurance during his tour of the eastern ports in the country. Adeshina Abiodun covered Barrister Akuta's engagements with the management of the 3 ports visited. Here is his report presented by Ifeyinwa Okonkwo. Please take a listen.
This visit by the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Shippers Council, accompanied by top management of the council, comes a few weeks after the commissioning of the Fontua Inland Dry Port in Katsina State. Barrister Akuta demonstrated commitment to developing capacity and infrastructure at the ports across the country, all in line with the renewed vision of the present administration. It was a rigorous and fact-finding exercise that took the NSC boss and his team to Bua Port Terminal on a multipurpose terminal and West Africa Container Terminal in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. At Bua Port Terminal, Barrister Akuta was received by the management of the terminal, led by Alhaji Mohammed Labo, who conducted the visitors round the terminal and facilities at the port. Labo lamented the decayed infrastructure and inadequate power supply as some of the problems affecting smooth operations at the port. He appealed to the government to address these challenges by upgrading some of the existing facilities at the ports. While acknowledging the many problems faced by the management of the ports, Barrister Akuta disclosed that government plans to fully automate port operations and upgrade critical facilities.
The Nigerian Shippers Council has been there over the years. There is nothing so very new, except to the fact that we have a current law now, a bill before the National Assembly, and the essence is to make it the port economic regulator for the sector. And we are looking forward to new frontiers that we bring about the efficiency of how the port system is run in Nigeria. So that's basically what I would say, that may be new, but it's for the good of the sector, because as a regulator for the sector, we seek to work with the stakeholders and all the service users, the service providers and the users in the sector to enhance the efficiency of what is going on so that business will grow in Nigeria. The President, having set up the Ministry for Marine and Blue Economy, is aiming at moving from oil dependency to other non-oil sectors of the economy. And we have a role to play. And we're looking at export trade to facilitate more export coming out of Nigeria so that we can balance the trade deficit that we have had over the years for not paying attention to this sector. So we that have come on board to help the vision of Mr. President, to drive the vision of the President in this sector, we have to work together as family Thank God most of us in this, we have started working together already. That collaboration is there. So it's going to be continuous engagement with all the stakeholders, all the players in this sector to see how we can achieve the purpose for which the President has set up this Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. And mind you, it's not only agencies within the ministry, but even other critical stakeholders, including the private sector. We have seen the kind of investment that is here is a huge investment. And all we need to do is to see how we can facilitate the economic realities of this investment to bear on the Nigerian economy.
Mr. Charles Okuwe, commercial manager at Onne Port Multipurpose Terminal, received Barrister Akuta and his team. He presented a brief history of the terminal with special focus on the challenges and prospects. He identified the absence of rail linkage and epileptic power supply as major obstacles affecting the effective and efficient movement of cargoes in and out of the ports.
In 2021, we received our first container vessel, which at that time, vessel waiting time was more than 3 weeks. So since we commenced operation, that had reduced drastically, a big nosedive. And in November, we received our first oil and gas supply vessel. In 2022, we reached a milestone of handing over 400,000 containers since we started operation. Then in July, our first vessel for oil and gas pipes handled our first Bonnet LNG train 7 cargo. And in 2023, we celebrated our 2 million man-hour without LTI, which was a very big one for us. Moving forward, 2023 Q1, we started the paving of the yard from each section till we completed the whole of the yard. This is an overview, current overview of the terminal for just 3 years. And right here, we have the terminal sits on 23 hectares of land in Terminal 1. We call it Terminal 1. And the adjoining side, we have 24 hectares of land where we are expanding to support our general cargo operation. Moving forward, just brief illustration of where OMT is. This is an overview of Federal Ocean Terminal. The road we're coming through, which is being constructed now, is called the Road D, and the access road into OMT. This is our neighbor WAPT and Intels at the other side of our terminal.
The ES told the management of Onne Port Terminal that improving infrastructure at the ports, particularly rail connectivity, is key and will reduce the cost of haulage.
From every indication without asking, I know that the level of automation of your processes is also very high, and it's commendable because that's the only way that we can encourage the ease of doing business when we put our processes, automate them in this manner. They are not unique challenges. They are challenges that is being faced in the sector. For instance, you talk about the ray. We know that our concern majorly is to lower the cost of export business and import business also, so that will not impact more on the consumer and also on the exporter, but it will reduce the cost so that it will impact positively on the economy. And therefore, we know that the cost of haulage in this sector is so high, and the only way to minimize that is to introduce ray so that it will help to move goods across the country cheaper.
Barrister Pius Akuta also visited the West Africa Container Terminal in Onne, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, where he was received by the management of the terminal led by Mr. Frederick Klinkle. The Chief Executive Officer inspected facilities at the port and was particularly delighted at the volume of investment and the serene environment. The NSC boss said measures will be put in place by the government to protect investments at the ports. The Managing Director of AP Mola Terminal, Nigeria, Mr. Frederick Klinke, emphasized personnel development.
We have a very strong belief in the Nigerian economy. We fully support and want to help facilitate the export drive that the government is pushing very successfully, and that is the background for many of the investments that you've seen, both in the handling equipment, but certainly also in the container freight station that we will see later, which is indeed one of the ways where we can directly impact the ability of exporters to bring their goods easier to their markets. There's of course a number of challenges involved in operating, particularly this part of Nigeria, and therefore I think it's extremely important that you have the opportunity to see for yourself the port, what we have achieved with it, and also for you to better appreciate requests for and the importance of doing the upgrades on the road, the electricity grid, and so forth. Because this is really an important outlet for the economy overall, and improving the flow for our customers, especially the exporters, not only in operating in the port, but also getting to the port is extremely important.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Barrister Pius Akuta, also visited the site of Aba Inland Dry Ports, where he provided the media with an update on the project. Barrister Akuta is optimistic that the Aba Inland Dry Port will come on stream soon.
For us at the Shippers Council, we already have the directive of Mr. President to ensure that the other inland dry ports are also quickly developed and commissioned as quickly as possible. So that's where we are now. And that's the reason why we visited the site today together with the concessionaires. We've opened discussions and we have agreed on the timeline, some of the timelines when we are going to meet again to take the discussion further. So you need to have a concessionaire who is going to develop the asset. And we are in talk with the governor of Enugu State in respect of that as well. And these are projects that are very important to our national development. If you look at most of the accidents that occur on the road, especially those at night, it's because of tiredness from the drivers. So vehicle transit areas will help us to reduce accidents on the road. It will help us to create more opportunities for businesses. And then drivers who do haulage across the country, we have areas where they can go and rest for a number of days or a day or two, where they can refresh themselves and then take up their journey again. And where those vehicles can also be maintained. So it will be a place of business. We are now talking with each other. We want to engage all the stakeholders and see how quickly we can develop this. This is because the president has given directive. And his directive is to grow the economy from this sector, not only the oil sector, but it's looking at the non-oil export. And that's where we are all gearing up to work around the clock to see how we can develop this asset.
At the end of his familiarization visit to the ports, the Executive Secretary also met with staff at the Council's Zonal Coordinating Office in Aba, Abia State, Southeast Nigeria, where they took turns to inundate their boss with some problems faced on the job. They want management to provide adequate working equipment to enhance their operations. The Executive Secretary, who took time to listen to staff complaints, assured them of management's quick response to their needs, adding that the Council will always reward hard work and dedication to duties.
This zone, as far as the Nigerian Shippers Council is concerned, is one of the key zones or key locations in this country where trade facilitation is very crucial and important, because we have a lot of activities that pertain to our mandate going on in this zone, especially in the city of Aba here, which is a hub of economic activities, one of the hubs of economic activities in the southeast. And it is quite interesting that we have the crop of staff that we have here, that in spite of all the challenges you have enumerated, I have seen the quite enormous work that you have put in the last few months that I've been in the council. And I must say that you are doing a great job, and keep it up. Regarding the challenges, they are not, this zone is not singled out. In fact, in the South-South zone, we also had the similar challenges. Also in the headquarters, we have these similar challenges. So they are not new and they are not peculiar to the Southeast zone. But these are challenges that are surmountable, and we are going to do everything possible to surmount them.
It was indeed a very busy week for the Chief Executive of Nigerian Shippers Council. You will agree with me that the impact of such visits is often positive and far-reaching. Kudos to our Chief Executive Officer and Executive Secretary, Barrister Pius Akuta. Next, it's Tidbits with Oluwasegun Aloko as our guide.
Hello, we have some exciting stories to cover in this segment. Let's dive right in. The Nigerian Shippers Council, NSC, has taken a significant step forward in its digital transformation as the Executive Secretary Chief Executive Officer, NSC, Barrister Kota Pius, MON, inaugurates its 16-member project management team to facilitate the successful implementation of an enterprise content management system, ECMS, for the Council. The ECMS is a digital platform aimed at streamlining and automating the management, storage, and retrieval of the Council's documents and content. In his address, Barrister Akota Pius said that once in place, the ECMS will guarantee progress, improved work quality, productivity, and enhanced work ethics, ultimately leading to a reduction in the cost of doing business.
Technology has taken the center stage in the way office businesses are done globally, and the Council will not be left behind. At the implementation of the ECM, we will hopefully have our files electronically so that we are able to work anywhere, anytime, from any device, anywhere in the world. That we guarantee progress in terms of our work ethics, and it will improve the quality of work that we do.
The team's terms of reference are to ensure effective execution of the project within plan, scope, timeline, and budget, to facilitate communication and collaboration among team members and stakeholders, to regularly track and report project progress, address and resolve any issues that may arise during the project, to drive change management, including stakeholder engagement, training, and support to ensure smooth adoption of the ECMS in the Nigerian Shippers Council.
Everything we're doing currently today with papers and physical files will become digital and will be managed digitally. So that's the basis of the ECMS. And this includes correspondences. Correspondences are communication between our organization and external organizations. So that is going to become paperless. Had accidents on the road coming from their various places to Abuja to submit this and submit that. And now I didn't have to pay for dispatch. Just scan the letter, put it in email, and send it to those places.
With the inauguration of the team, the Council hopes to go paperless before the end of 2024. In other news, a delegation from the Nigerian Shippers Council Southeast Zonal Coordinating Office, Aba, Abia State, led by Zonal Director Mrs. Margaret Ogbonna, recently paid a working visit to Federal Customs Command in Owerri, Imo State. In her address, Zonal Director Mrs. Ogbonna said the visit was aimed at strengthening interagency collaboration and enhancing trade facilitation in the Southeast Corridor. Comptroller Michael Ugbagu of the Federal Command, Zone C, Owerri, provided a detailed explanation of prohibited goods and regulations. He stressed the importance of adhering to proper documentation. The meeting fostered interaction and provided valuable insights for stakeholders, improving understanding and cooperation in trade facilitation. We urge all stakeholders in the maritime sector to visit our website, www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng, for more information about our services and to lodge any complaints they may have. We remind you also to register with the Council at registration@nigerianshipperscouncil.gov.ng. It is compulsory for all providers and users of port services. Failure to do so will result in penalties. Let's now check on our complaints register for the week. We received a total of 3 complaints, and there are ongoing investigations. The types of complaints include arbitrary charges, extortion, and laying on container. It's time for maritime stories around the world. Singapore, the world's second busiest container port, is experiencing severe congestion, leading carriers to extend charter agreements and expand fleet for an extended peak season. Port congestion has hit 2 million TEU with significant delays and increased rates. The Shanghai Containerized Freight Index, SCFI, rose by 42% in the past month, with further surcharges and rate hikes expected as the peak season progresses. Cochin Shipyard Limited, CSL, in India, has secured a €60 million contract from UK-based North Star Shipping to build hybrid service operation vessels for the Scottish Power Renewables East Anglia 3 offshore wind farm. The 85-meter vessels designed by VAD AS will feature hybrid electric propulsion, advanced technology, and high-quality accommodations for 80 technicians. This order, with an option for 2 more vessels, enhances CSL's standing in the global renewable energy sector. DP World and Mowani have begun constructing Saudi Arabia's largest logistics park at Jeddah Islamic Port. The $240 million, 415,000 square meter facility will include 185,000 square meter of warehouse space and cold storage, with a 390,000 pallet capacity storage yard and rooftop solar panels that will generate 20 megawatts of electricity. Set to open in Q2 of 2025, the park aims to enhance multimodal connectivity and support Saudi Vision 2030. And that's it on Tidbits for this week.
From A to B, from A to B, from north to south, from north to south, from east to west, from east to west, from port to port, from port to port. You can ship your goods and feel good too. Oh yeah, Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency, and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos, or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Thank you for watching The Shipper. Now, just a heads up, the Nigerian Shippers Council will soon be going paperless, making our processes quicker and simpler. Keep this in mind as we move forward. Remember to join us next week for more insightful decisions and updates on Nigeria's maritime activities. Until then, smooth sailings.